Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot, with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. First, I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently here on this channel, so keeping that in mind, if the messages do happen to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you would like to support the channel further, you will find everything that you need in the description below. So today we are unlocking the universe's secret guidance for you, and I felt really called to use the archetype, the Wild Unknown archetype by Kim Kranz. So let us open up with your prayer, and then we will go ahead and get into your reading. All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. Sometimes life is hitting us from so many different directions that it's hard for us to know what it is that you're asking or guiding us to do. That at times it's just easier to make a snap decision instead of drawing into the silence and allowing you to guide us in that stillness, in that silence, with that whisper. The world is a loud and chaotic and noisy place. It's heavy. Sometimes it's overwhelming. And sometimes it is too much for us to say, okay, in this moment, I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen to the guidance that I need. We are only human after all. And sometimes the world around us does get the better of us. And you're aware of that, and you understand that, and you always allow grace for us in that way. But today I ask more than anything that you help us to allow ourselves grace and to allow ourselves mercy. It's easy to receive that or hope to receive that from another person. But at many times in our journey, it's increasingly difficult to give that kindness and that compassion to ourselves. So allow us to quiet the judgmental voice that resides within, and allow us to open up to the heart's unconditional love and the gentleness that can and will help us take a courageous step forward on our path. As these words are spoken upon this tribe and onto this reading, so shall they be. Amen, aho, ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. All right. Let me move this out of the way. Now, these are kind of awkward for me to shuffle, but I'll do my best. I actually have small hands, so, which is funny because the rest of me is not so small, but my hands are short. All right, source, how do we unlock your secret guidance? What oracle is going to help us better understand how to unlock the universe's secret guidance for you, for my fellow humans? Okay, thank you. What Wild Unknown oracle card is going to help us better understand how to unlock the universe's secret guidance for you, for my fellow human source? What would you like to bring forth? Thank you. All right, for pile number one, source, what oracle card is going to help us unlock the universe's secret guidance for pile number one? What oracle card is going to help us better unlock the secret guidance for you, pile number one? Okay, thank you. Source for pile number two. Just a second. For pile number 2, source, what wild unknown oracle card is going to help us unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Pile number 2. Thank you. And for pile number 3, source, what wild unknown oracle card is going to help us better unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Pile number 3. That one right there. Thank you. All right, collective message. And one moment, I think my dog wants to get up on the bed. We have the box on the bottom. Just a second. My older dog, she is not feeling too good today, and so if I happen to pause the video throughout and go attend to her, just so you know, that's why. So she is 13 this year, and she's about to turn 14. So she's an old girl, but she's a good girl. So we have the box energy here. This is an interesting energy because it feels like this is like, it looks like a pyramid when you look at it, right? But for me, it's almost like a pyramid that's going down and to the light, right? Unlocking the secret guidance for you is walking down these stairs and going into your heart's connection. This really feels like getting in deep and recognizing the corners of yourself, right? We are infinite beings. We are boundless. But at times, we put ourselves inside of a box. We put ourselves inside of limitations, and understanding what those boundaries, those edges, those sides might be, every corner of ourself, that allows us to absolve those corners and to embrace them for what they are, the illusion that they've convinced us, and remove them from our life. And removing it is more about really truly absolving it into our lives, right? That's that integration. And letting ourselves really tap into that infinite wisdom that resides in, and letting ourselves come into that space of silence. And we did talk about in the prayer how difficult sometimes it can be to do that, but it is not impossible. It may be difficult, and that's okay. If it were easy, there would be more people who do it without qualms, without reserves, without worry. They would just tap in and do it. But, you know, we're in this very heavy, dense realm. And to go down even further, this would be into like our soul's light, which resides at the core of our being. So there's this idea of going from the mind into the core is ascending or descending. And that feels weird, right? That feels weird. It's like we're always trying to ascend. We're always trying to go higher. We're always trying to become more. But to descend feels like the opposite, like we're going backwards, or as if we have done ourselves a disservice, or if we've done something wrong. And that's not necessarily true. It's like and I know I've talked about this before, but regression is a part of our journey. And if we've completely said regression can't be a part of our journey, we're not giving ourselves the grace to experience what humanity truly is and what being human on this realm means. There's all kinds of things that can cause regression. But when those moments happen, if we're unable to go in and tap into our center, our core, then we're not able to find that guidance we need, or to even find that motivation and that courage to move beyond the challenges and the limitations that have been building up for years and years and years and years and have blocked out our light. We're not seeing the whole of who we are. We don't even know our true potential because we're seeing ourselves through the filter of society. We're seeing ourselves through filter of what others have told us we are or have to be. We're not seeing ourselves through a filter of truth. There's literally something that is blocking us from seeing the scars and the flaws and the troublesome worries that we experience. We see those as detrimental to ourselves and to our journey, rather than seeing it as a part of our journey and something that we can and once we are willing to embrace, can actually empower us. It's usually our greatest perceived weaknesses that become our most empowering strengths. But to get to that point, it's sometimes very challenging. Okay, so I believe this is 44, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 44. And we think about 4 as, strength, structure, stability. And if strength, structure, and stability is not cube-like, then what is it? And that's the layers that we're building. We're building a structure, but the structure we're building far outlasts the cube-like structure. Yeah, so the cage, the rules, and the norm with the box. It says moving outside of the box is exhilarating and expansive, but destabilizing. Others will wonder what you are doing and why you will do it. And why. You will too. This is a part of the process. It says everything within the box is known. Everything outside of the box is unknown. That is why it is more comfortable to stay within its walls than to choose freedom. We all live to some degree within the confines of the box. This archetype represents everything that is known, anticipated, and expected. It holds us in place while simultaneously holding us back from our greatest visions. The box is sneaky, insidious, and everywhere, limiting us at our most unconscious level. It is built of layer upon layer of social constructs and pressures. Breaking through its confines requires awareness, continued effort, and bravery. The box may appear as expectations from a parent, a well-paying but heartless job, the pressures that look or behave like others, or simply to stay small. There is a box around you now, made of some type of confining thought. What is it? The box shifts and morphs as we grow. This is the part of its multi-layered nature. Once you break through one layer, another will present itself to you. Keep going. Break through. An exquisite life requires it. So when you're in light, structure, order, coherence, and logic. When in darkness, there's limitation, rigidity, judgment, and fear. To go deeper, check out Richard Sierra, One Ton Prop, House of Cards. And if you want to know what that is, that's right there. So this is just an interesting energy overall. It's very confining. It's very limiting, which is what we were talking about. And so for this to come out as how do we unlock the universe's secret and guidance for you, it's going outside of what is known, leaving behind everything that is known and embracing the unknown, which is frightening. It is scary, right? But it is worth it. Okay, I didn't pull out any dice today. Let me make sure we're in frame here. Okay, so for pile number 1, we do have this red jasper root chakra gemstone with the root chakra seed sound, which is Ram. For pile number 2, we have this carnelian gemstone for the sacral chakra with the seed sound Vam. And for pile number 3, we have this yellow jasper for the sacral chakra. For the solar plexus chakra with the seed sound Lam. Ram, Vam. I think it's Lam. I get the seed sound for the heart chakra and the solar plexus mixed up. Yam. Okay, no, it's Yam. They just told me it's Yam, or someone said it's Yam. So it's Yam. All right, so we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this red jasper root chakra gemstone with the seed sound Ram on it, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on Unlock the Universe's Secret Guidance for you. Oh, I guess you got 2 cards. I just realized that. Wow, okay. They were so stuck together, they didn't look like 2 cards, but they just came apart right there. So you got 2 cards. I believe you're the only pile that has 2 cards. That's interesting. Okay. First, I'd like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of the journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And if you do happen to be new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that here is a safe space for you to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And we do things completely differently here on this channel. So with that in mind, if the messages do happen to resonate or you would like to claim them, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So with that, let's go ahead and hop to it. And we're going to find out how you, pile number 2, can unlock the universe's secret guidance for you. So source, how can pile number 2 unlock the universe's secret guidance for them? What would you like to share with us? Pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Source, what would you like to say today? Okay, so we've got the 10th house, Taurus energy, and Mercury. Interesting. There's something here that you're meant to share with others. Some kind of message, some kind of guidance, some kind of connection. It's a part of your path's purpose. It's a part of you finding balance within yourself. And it's also a part of your self-love. Like, sharing your wisdom with others is a part of self-love for you. So you may have Mercury in Gemini. You may also have a rising or sun in Gemini as well, or just a lot of Gemini placements in your chart. And you could even have the North Node, South Node in either Gemini or Sagittarius, which is coming through here. But this is energy where there's something here that for you to feel grounded and to feel like you're capable of tapping in and receiving your guidance and your instructions for your journey, you need to share yourself with others. And I do feel like there's a resistance here, like I'm not good enough for that, or I don't know how to speak clearly, or public speaking absolutely terrifies me. But there's so many ways to share your wisdom with others. It doesn't have to just be public speaking. This could be the written word. It could be going out and creating, you know, some kind of vlog. It could be online, sharing online, or just posting certain types of, you know, positivity, or creating your own little positive captions here and there, whatever. It does feel very online oriented, but again, it could be going out and having public speaking, like maybe you want to do a TED Talk, or maybe you're going to get invited to doing a TED Talk here. But how you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you is by being true and honest to yourself, that there's something you want to share with others, but there's a resistance. One second. Okay, I guess he's done honking. There's a resistance to you sharing that. So that feels like self-doubt that's coming through. That feels like I'm not, you know, in a position, or I have to wait until I have XYZ. Well, you have all the tools available to you right now, pile number 1. You do not have to wait. Everything that you need resides within your heart, and it resides within your ability to bring that forth into manifestation, into fruition. But there is a feeling of, and it could be a little bit of stubbornness, like, no, I have high standards, so I expect myself to be at X level before I bring forth that information. But the thing with having, and there's nothing wrong with having high standards like that, but that does fall under stubbornness, because there's a part of the emotional ego that has convinced us that I won't be good enough until I have this level of security. But you've reached that level of security. So say tomorrow you were to get everything that you had a standard for, okay, and you were to receive that tomorrow, you would think of or swear there was something else you needed in order to start. So when that becomes the norm, you're lying to yourself and you're saying that I'm never good enough because I don't have enough. And what Source is saying is that for you to unlock these secrets, these gifts, these abilities, whatever it is that is secret guidance for you, and that can be anything, right? It's just coming back to that space of being truly honest with yourself. And it has to do with what you want to work in and what you want to do for a living, what you want to be recognized for, and where you want your successes to lie. It could be that it's something different than what you're expected to do. So maybe your family said you had to be this, but you want to be something else. And that's scary, leaving that safety net of what you've always known, the expectation safety net, right? I can fall into the expectation safety net and I know what's going to catch me and I know what I need to do in order to achieve my goal in that. Or I can leave that and I don't know if there's a net underneath me and I don't know if I'm going to fall into a place that's safe because I don't know what's next. If you didn't, you might benefit from checking out the collective energy at the beginning, because this is a lot of that same energy coming through again. And for it to be collective, that's the underlying energy, right, for the whole collective right now, which is understandable. But there's definitely a myth here that needs to be busting. And unfortunately, Source can't do that for you if you're not willing to tap into that yourself, right? We have to meet Source halfway in everything that we do. And sometimes that's increasingly difficult because we don't want to face those parts of ourselves. Or it's just like, can't you just take it away? Like, if you can do, or if you're all powerful, the omnipresence, can't you just take it away and I don't have to worry about it? But, you know, when things are given to us in that way, we take them for granted. And because of that, we don't appreciate them, nor do we allow them to develop to their full capacity. And that's why part of this realm is truly about fighting for ourselves. And some could look at it for fighting for life, but it's really just about fighting for ourselves and having the determination to realize that we're going to have to fight to be seen. We're going to have to fight to be heard. There are going to be people who ignore us. There's going to be people who go against us at every step of the way, because that's just the type of people that are in this realm, right? So we're the ones that have to work on being our truest selves so we can give courage to the others that are ready to step up into theirs as well. So pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Source, what would you like to share? Thank you. Pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Yeah, there's a worry about starting over here, but we never truly start from scratch. We always start from experience. Right, think about when you were a baby and you started walking for the first time and you took your first steps. Or if you have a child and you watched your child take the first few steps, right? And they fell down. They had to begin again, but were they beginning again like that very first time? Why is everyone like, oh my gosh, their first steps? Because that's it. After their first steps, they gather the strength, they learn better, and they get more acquainted with the movements that they need to walk. That's why there's always the babies first. But we don't look at it that way for ourselves as adults, because we've experienced so many firsts that sometimes a first is not a big deal, but we expect our first to be perfect. And having to start again makes us feel unworthy. It makes us feel less than. Yeah, there's a perception issue here. There's not seeing things clearly right now. There's a high expectation. Like, I keep coming back to this. It's like, but those are my standards. That's what I'm hearing. Those are just my standards. But Are your standards like standards that can be negotiated? Right? It's kind of like when you want a lover in your life. It's like, what are your non-negotiables, right? It's like, oh, money is a non-negotiable. Is that really a non-negotiable? Or, is that, and again, it's going to be different for everybody, but it's like so many people get so caught up on they have to look a certain way, they have to act a certain way, they have to make a certain amount, they have to live a certain life. But our non-negotiables should be things like our core values, our morals, honesty, integrity, honesty, reliability, accountability, respect, right? These should be the non-negotiables, but everybody is so tied up in very superficial surface level non-negotiables, and that's what this feels like. There's like a feeling of a superficial non-negotiable issue here, and you're not willing to or not wanting to relent on this one thing, but it's actually this one, what you feel is non-negotiable, that's holding you back from receiving the guidance that you need, because it's like you've put up a wall. If it has to do with anything other than what I expect in this area, right? Could be work, could be love, could be communication, it could be connection with others, networking, it could be any of that, right? But there's a wall there, and thus, because there's a wall there, Source isn't going to keep pushing that. Source isn't going to keep knocking on that wall and asking you to break it down, especially if we're not willing to take accountability for the fact that we're the ones that put that wall there in the first place. Or saying like, no, it has to be this way, but sometimes the way that we think things have to be is actually not in alignment with our journey. So there's a lot of fears that are arising here. Yeah, it's keeping you stagnant with the Nameless card in reverse. Wow, and the 10 of Coins came out while I was shuffling like 3 times, so for it to come out in your reading, but we have it in the reverse. So this has to do with what you're doing for money. It really feels like, especially with the 10 of Coins coming up, and we have the 10 of Coins in the reverse. It's talking about lack of abundance. It's also talking about unfair distribution of wealth. Okay, so there's a feeling that something here is completely unfair, like almost like as if I deserve that. I deserve it because I did this, because I did that, but seeing someone else receive it is triggering you in a sense. It's saying like, well, what did they do? They didn't have to experience all the things that I had to. We're so quick to judge people like that when we actually have no idea what their story is. We can assume that we know their story, but at the end of the day, we don't know everything that another person has gone through. And so for us to say that, and that comes down to comparison, right? Comparing ourselves to them, comparing them to us. And there is no comparison here, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing this, pile one. It's just that this is something that is a very old construct. It's like maybe you feel like you were compared to your siblings or to your parents or to your grandparents or to people around you, and thus you will learn that at an early age. This is just what we do. We compare ourselves to other people, and we always, put ourselves in their shoes like, well, why are they getting something that I feel like I deserve? And it's okay to want that. It's okay to desire that, but there's an attachment to it. And so in order to receive the guidance that you need and to move beyond the attachment, you have to let go of the standard or the idea that it has to be a certain way. It has to be a certain person. It has to be a certain number. It has to come to me all at once. It has to come to me in this exact manner. When we put stipulations on it, we prevent Source from being the creative force that Source is. Creativity is never linear, and it is never what we expect. Is there any time that you've had a huge project that you've had to do, a creative project, right? Thinking about it that way, and maybe you don't do creative projects now, but maybe you had a creative project back in school when you were a kid or younger, and you think about that. You had this creative project and you're like, I want it to go this way, this way, this way, and this way. But how often did it go exactly as you had it planned out? Rarely ever. But were you able to complete it and turn in the finished project? Yeah, you were. Was it exactly what you wanted? Maybe not, but it was enough and it got you what you needed. So, and that's that idea that's coming through. There's this feeling that if it comes in a different way than what I have imagined in my mind, it's not good enough. But we see here, there's a mental block with the hangman coming out in the reverse. Okay, this is not seeing things from a different perspective. This is seeing things in a way that has felt safe and comfortable for so long. Not feeling comfortable being different from the way the herd is moving. Okay, this is something that's unable to manifest in this world. Therefore, I'm unable to take action because the emotional upset that I have is too much. There's a lot of grief that's been unfelt here. There's a lot of resistance and also stubbornness with the Taurus energy coming in. So how do we unlock the secret guidance, the universe's secret guidance for you? Is allowing yourself to come into stillness. Stillness will help you move into that space and releasing the attachment that you have to being a specific way. Once you release those and come into a space of stillness, true stillness, right, you will get the guidance that you need in order to take the next step. But here there's something that you're needing to share with the world, but it's just feeling like I'm not able to do that. I'm too scared to share this part of myself, or this feels too open and vulnerable for me, or this is too much for me to handle. And the truth is, pile number one, we are given a lot, absolutely. But Source will never, ever, ever, ever give us more than we can handle. And sometimes we don't see it that way. There's a story I read, and I think I brought this up. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was to someone I was talking to here. But there's a story that I read. This was years and years and years ago, way back when internet, right after DSL, and we went to actual like Comcast internet and stuff, right? But there was an email I received, and it was this guy who went up to God and he said, God, the cross that you gave me was too heavy to bear. I just can't bear this cross anymore. I can't handle this anymore. God says, okay, come with me. And he leads him to this room and he says, put your cross down, and I'll tell you what, you can go through this whole room of crosses and pick out any cross that you want to carry, whatever you want. And so he's walking around the room and he sees crosses that are so tall he can't see the tops of. He sees crosses that are so wide he can't see either side of them. They're huge. They're all towering over him. He walks around this room for a long time. And then he comes to this one little tiny cross over in the back of the room. And he's like, that's the cross that I want, Source. That's the one that is going to be good for me, God. I really want that cross. And God's like, okay, then that's your cross. But I'm curious. And he goes, why? He says, because that's the cross you came in here with. So it's just that reminder. It's like, we're always looking for less. But the truth is that what we're given isn't more than we can handle. And it's not about finding a purpose for all the things that we've gone through. Rather, it's finding a way for us to handle them in an emotionally mature manner. And that comes with the triggers, and that comes with letting go, and that comes with releasing attachments. And it's not easy. If it were easy, there would be far more people doing it. But you're here asking, pile one. And because you're here and asking, that means that you're ready to make a change for yourself. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. So let's see what else comes out for you. What else would you like to tell pile number 2, Source? Thank you. On the bottom, Gemini. Wow. Thank you for that confirmation. Curiosity, intellect, and networking. It's almost like there's such a seriousness here. It's almost as if you've forgotten to experience life from a state of curiosity, a state of wonder. It's like, oh, it has to be this, this, and this. And sometimes that rigidity is what keeps us from receiving our guidance, because we're expecting it to be the mortal way, right? This worldly way. And guidance is spiritual in nature and thus never linear. wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. What a powerful card, right? It's like, are you sure it has to be the way you're expecting it to be, or is there potential for other outcomes? It wouldn't surprise me if you also have a lot of Virgo placements as well. But this is just that energy where it's like seeing that sometimes we put a lot of smoke and mirrors in our own lives. It's not the world around us. It's that we're reacting to the world around us. And thus it has created a lot of smoke and mirrors in our lives, which creates a lot of pain and upset and hurt and feelings of lack and poverty. Wow. On the bottom, rest and relaxation is essential. We all have the fundamental need to take a break. And so this is that feeling that coming into stillness, coming into silence is where you will learn the most profound answers for you. You could be a workaholic as well. You could just be constantly on the go because you don't want to face the hardships, or you don't want to face the feelings, the emotions, the grief. Okay, could be those relationships as well. You've had some really hard times with relationships, so I'm just going to work it all away so I don't have to think about it. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So this is that energy of reminding yourself that if you're not letting go of the past continues to repeat itself in the present moment because we're holding on to it. It's something we're constantly playing over and over again in our minds. It's something that we can't let go of. And so in order for us to let go of it, I didn't want that many, but they want them. We have to let it be, right? Sometimes we just have to let it be. And the past is going to keep coming up until we're not triggered by it anymore. And when we're not triggered by it anymore, then even if that does come back into our lives again, we're just not bothered by it anymore. It's like, like the first time you go in public speak, you're absolutely nervous, you're a wreck. But then the second time, it's not as bad as the first. The same thing with walking. It's really hard the first time we take our first steps, but then it gets easier. That's all of life. It's a progression of all those events put together. We have Sagittarius on the bottom. Shoot for the stars. Don't be afraid to dream big. All right, let's get one of these. Yeah, your energy. This is all about reconnecting with your energy. It's just like, it's almost like you're hemorrhaging energy here. You're hemorrhaging energy to a situation. You're hemorrhaging energy to a belief. You're hemorrhaging energy to other people, to the past, to fear of the future, to comparing yourself with others. What's it going to take for you to draw your energy back to yourself? Sometimes that's just putting everything else on hold so that you can re-tap into your potential. But there's a lot of caution there because that's scary. That means I have to deal with those emotions and those feelings that I've been trying so hard to run away from. You're not the only one, pile one. This is something that a lot of us do until we can't do it any longer. So if you choose to keep running, know that that's okay. But eventually there will come a time when you're going to be forced to face those because you can't physically take the running away anymore. Wow, Mercury energy. Think, learn, network, and communicate. Gemini energy and Virgo coming in like crazy. Okay? But something you're meant to communicate here. There's something you're meant to share with others. All right. Oh my gosh, weeping wound. This hurts. This is something, that's what I was saying, like that hemorrhaging energy. It's a weeping wound. It's just constantly coming up again and again. And it's triggering you as if it were the first time each time. Rather than seeing it for what it is, I'm safe. It comes up, I'm safe. I'm not going through that anymore. Yes, it hurts. And I validate that it hurts. I validate that I felt whatever it was that I felt. You are not your wounds. But right now there's that feeling like I am my wounds. And it does feel like your wounds are actually what it is that you're going to be sharing with others. That's why it feels scary, because it's so vulnerable. It's like putting yourself out there in a way that you have never done before. And that's all right. That's all right. It is scary. I love you. These are powerful words. Loving yourself first, right? Taking that time. Like, it's really interesting how they're holding their heart the same way from these two decks. Hands over the heart, hands over the heart. Right? That's a really powerful thing. This is heart chakra healing. But it's also this feeling of what your heart wants matters, and you chose the root chakra gemstone. It's like, what do you want to manifest in this life? Well, your heart definitely has some ideas on what it would like to manifest, but when you stop and listen to what your heart asks and what your heart's desiring, there's something that's telling you, no, I can't do that. I'm too scared. No, I can't do that. That's like starting over, right? Something's on repeat. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. You know, is there a way that you can reframe what has happened to you instead of seeing it as, you know, okay, so it's just like this. It's like understanding the people who are involved. That's really what reframing it is. Recognizing that they weren't doing it to you as a personal blight, or it was a personal vendetta or revenge or anything against what you did, but we convince ourselves that it is oftentimes. So reframing the things that have happened to us in the past is oftentimes allowing ourselves enough compassion to potentially understand the people who hurt us, what their wounds were. Is this something that maybe they experienced in their life? Is this the only way that they know how to act because this is all they knew growing up? Like, is this the only thing that they knew how to do? You know, and it's hard because people don't want to see it that way, because when we single ourselves out, that makes our emotional ego feel good about itself. Like, oh, I'm singled out. I'm the only person who knows what this feels like. But oftentimes we're not. And we're never alone. And we've never experienced the things that we've experienced alone. Yes, it's true. We've only experienced them through our eyes and our perspective. But it doesn't mean that we're the only person that's experienced that hardship that we think we are. And so it's oftentimes just reframing it. It could just be as simple as reframing it as like, there must be other people that are going through this. And I was so strong that I overcame this. And I want to be that voice to help others have a voice for themselves. Wow, forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So we see that right now, forgiveness is coming up. And look, I'm all about forgiveness. This channel has talked about forgiveness. And what I've learned is forgiveness is very powerful from my own circumstances and from my own points of view. It does free us from the past. But I've also learned that there are a lot of people who will not ever see it that way or take that first step to forgiveness of the people who hurt them, because it feels like if I forgive them, that I'm letting them off the hook. So rather than forgiving this person, why don't you start by forgiving yourself? If we can forgive ourselves, it gives us the capacity to forgive the people who have hurt us. And that's not going to happen overnight. But the capacity to forgive another person will never, ever exist if we don't know how to forgive ourselves. And when I say forgive yourself, it's not because you attracted this. It's not because you're to blame in any of this. But forgiving yourself for how you've treated yourself after this happened. For believing you weren't worthy, for believing you weren't lovable, for believing that you had to change everything about yourself in order to be accepted by others, for not being there for yourself when you needed a shoulder to cry on, right? Because those are oftentimes what we've done to ourselves. We've been running to everyone else to give us that shoulder to cry on, when truthfully, we've been the only shoulder we were looking for, and we couldn't even give that to ourselves after something bad had happened. So start by forgiving yourself, and then worry about forgiving others later. Worry about that later, because really a lot of resentment comes from how we feel about ourselves and how, well, if I had done this differently, or if I had just said this, or I have done that. Forgive yourself and start there and see what happens. Yeah, look, Imam Coeli, make peace with the past. The past is already written. No amount of reliving it over and over again is going to help you change it. There's not a time machine. Our thoughts are not a time machine. They like to think they are, but they're not a time machine. Right? So this is what's been blocking you off from your secret guidance from the universe, is this past situation. And it's like, no one can ever tell us just get over it, right? Like, that's not how it works. We have to go through it. We have to remind ourselves that we're safe now so that we can safely go through it. And for you, Pile 1, that might be in the help of the hands of a professional. And I know that's scary too. But look, I've gone down that road as well, and there's a lot that I learned from a therapist. There's a lot of different healing modalities that I've learned from a therapist that I went to for over 2 years. And I'm thankful for that experience because it helped me get to where I am today. And it helped me understand myself in a much deeper way. And it also helped me realize that a lot of the things that I had blamed myself for were not mine to blame myself or anybody for. It helped me understand a lot of that. Square, turn a corner. This is a challenging situation. It's been a mountain to climb. This has been a really difficult thing for you to go through. But the only way to get past it is to turn a corner. Change your perspective. Change the way you look at this. 6th house, get real with responsibilities. Right now, the only thing that you're responsible for, Pile 1, is you. How you're showing up, what you're choosing to say, how you're choosing to think about yourself, the actions that you're taking. You're not responsible for how these people, these circumstances, these situations showed up in your life before. You're only responsible for yourself right now. So you got 2 of these cards. We're going to check these out. I'm going to read them from the book. The first one is the 1. Wow. Seeing the light in the darkness. Number 30. And the second one is the Sustainer with number 24. Interesting. It's like almost like you're being molded out of this situation. Like, this situation, regardless of what has happened, is molding you into who you're meant to become. So let's check out the 1 first. I'll be the one if you want me. We'll make all your troubles alright. I'll be the light. Okay, Backstreet Boys. Right. I'll make all your troubles all right. Sometimes we have to trust Source is going to lead us to the promised land. And the promised land is not what we imagine it to be. It's exactly what it needs to be. And oftentimes that's finding a place of solitude and peace. Non-duality. One love. Unus Mundus says, it is said that Om is the primordial sound of the universe and that all other mantras are born from it. Simply imagining this possibility will activate the 1. The Unus Mundus is a circle representing the unity of existence. It is possible that the beginning and the end of all things is love. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The 1 is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. The archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across all the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large. Within that field, we are neither important nor unimportant. All duality fades away, and we are left with what is. The precious knowing that life is a gift, and we are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. When light, it says, serves, loves, accepts, resonates. When dark, ignores, omits, and excludes. To go deeper, check out James Turrell's The Color Inside, the poem Self-Portrait by David White. So the thing here is like the 1 is coming into that place of presence where all things are connected. But when someone has hurt us so deeply, it's hard to believe that we're connected with that person. And the last thing on our minds and our heart is to feel like, oh, I'm connected with them. Like, that's the last thing that we want. But ultimately, it's through our forgiveness and through our allowing ourselves to go through, right? I heard the other day this video and she talked about how, everybody's trying to rise above, trying to rise above, trying to rise above. And I actually talked about this in the collective reading. But no one talks about regression. And oftentimes what happens in situations like this, and she said it best, she says, we were meant to crawl through, scraping, clawing at the ground to get through to the other side. And sometimes that's just the way that it is. That's just life. That's like this journey. There are times when something happens to us so horrendous that it breaks us down into dust. But from the dust, we rise again. And we're renewed. We're changed forever by what has happened to us. But we don't have to be the product of what has happened to us. We don't have to identify with it. We can let go of the identity that was seen with that and come into this space of our internal truth, which is that we are so much stronger than we're giving ourselves credit for. And that this has made me a stronger person, even though at first maybe it broke me. And that's okay. Not looking to bring you up into this place of like the highest vibration ever. Sometimes just moving through it is all we can do. And it's even hard to do that. It says the peacemaker, the upholder, and the preserver. It says, contemplate what truly sustains you. Make a list. Notice how simple yet powerful those things are and spend some time tending them. Take note of the difference between maintaining and sustaining. Which action describes your life more accurately? Are you surviving or are you thriving? The sustainer, the second archetype in the trio of existence, works behind the scenes tending to the tasks of life. They cultivate gardens, pay bills, keep the meals warm, and the mouths sweetly fed. The sustainer is at peace in the process of life, knowing there is no start to finish to humble yet meaningful tasks. They have a natural inclination to nourish others, to archive, to preserve Earth's resources, to consider environmental impact, to see their role in the divine cycle of life. It is common for the sustainer to become overworked, leading to resentment. We had that with the forgiveness card too. Their tasks aren't glamorous, and therefore the sustainer rarely receives the credit or attention. The sustainer longs to hold things in place so badly, especially relationships, that they resist necessary change. Take time with this archetype. It is within us all and needs our love. And that's what we had the relationships card on the bottom of this deck too. So we had when light, you're abundant, generous, supportive, and reliable. When dark, you're overworked, resentful, trapped, tired. To go deeper, contemplate Lakshmi, Vishnu, and Demeter. A lot of beginnings and endings. Speaking our truth. Vishnu is connected with the throat chakra, Vishuddha. So a lot of endings and beginnings here. What is your truth? Are you denying yourself because of what has happened to you? Or are you going to allow yourself to become not necessarily bigger, but to become the truth of yourself, realizing that you are stronger than what has happened to you? And also knowing, Pile One, it's okay to feel broken, but you're not broken. But it's okay if you need to feel that way so that you can get through it. It's okay. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, you should never feel that way because, that's not the, look, I've been through it. I know. There are times when getting out of bed is impossible. There are times when even showering, a basic need, is impossible. Eating, it's impossible. Living in this darkness becomes so overwhelming. It starts to consume you and eat away at you. It's like everyone's like, just get together. Or people tell you have nothing to be depressed about. It's so unfair that people say that. They don't know who we are. But equally so, Pile One, it's so unfair for you to compare yourself to someone else because the same thing. We don't know who they are. Just the same way we don't want to be put into some little box and told that this is exactly what's happening with us or this is exactly who we are. The key here for you is to feel the way that you feel, but to validate that and to know that that's okay. Whatever comes out, the resentment, the anger, the hate, the grudge, everything, it's okay. It's okay to feel that. That's human. It's natural. But if you don't feel it, it's just going to keep building and boiling and building and boiling and building and boiling until one day it comes out over the top, and you might not be aware of the way that you're acting in that moment because it will overtake you. But you're being given an opportunity now, and this is how you unlock your secret guidance for you, because this is what's going to calm the mind to receive the downloads that Source is trying to bring in for you. And I don't want you to feel like you've done anything wrong, because that's not at all the case. Sometimes we've done so much on our journey that there's that one thing that we just don't want to face because it's just too dark. It's just too horrendous. It's too horrible and horrifying. But eventually we're going to have to face it, because the only person that we're looking at in the mirror is ourselves. So I love you, pile number 1. Here's a big energetic hug for you. You're not alone, okay? You're held in this moment. You're not alone. But if you do feel like this was your reading, I want you to leave the shield emoji down below and say, I stand up tall and strong. I fight for myself because I am worth it. Okay, and that just leave it at that. And if it resonated with you, it would mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. With that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly profound and deep message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this carnelian sacral chakra with the seed sound VOM on it, or if you were perhaps drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on Unlock the Universe's secret guidance for you. First, I'd like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of the journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And we do things completely differently around here. So with that being said, if you would like to confirm the message, or if it resonates, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. So we're going to go ahead and hop to it really quickly, because I didn't know how this reading was going to go, but I just want to forewarn that there may be a trigger alert here. I didn't get a chance to on pile 1 because pile 1 is always the experimental pile to see what the tone of the reading is going to be. So these got a lot deeper than I had imagined. So I'm asking for you to go into this with an open heart and without expectations to see what's coming through. So I am the channel, and I go with the energy that's coming in. And if it's not resonating, that's okay. Then maybe another pile might, or another reader might. So let's get to it. All right, Source, what messages do you have today for pile number 2? So pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Source, what would you like to bring forth for pile number 2? We've got the 8th house. Okay. We've got Sagittarius and Pluto energy. So you could have strong Scorpio energy in your chart. Scorpio in its home in Pluto, and its home in the 8th house. You could have Sagittarius in either one of those as well. Sagittarius rising is coming in. Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, Sag moon, Scorpio sun, and Sag in Venus. Okay. And I'm hearing Virgo as well. So Virgo in any one of those signs. Kind of opens it up, I guess, right? So this is interesting energy coming through. Hold on just a second. Okay, so this is definitely a strong energy coming in. There's this energy of the shadow self that's being made present, and the want to transform here. And unlocking your secret guidance has to do with allowing yourself to go through the darkness to embrace the light. And the shadow self is a difficult one to deal with because there's parts of it that really keep us from, like, there's fear that comes with that. There's anxiety that follows that. There's all kinds of emotions that build up when it comes to us dealing with what our shadow self is entailing or is trying to tell us. But with Sagittarius here, it's almost like they're telling you in a very cute way to use it as an adventure, like as an exploration, instead of taking it so seriously, which shadow work is serious business. Of course it is, because you're dealing with very difficult situations, you're dealing with very difficult emotions. But if you can bring this sense of adventure to it and this sense of lightheartedness to it, then you can free yourself from that. There's actually this video they're showing me right now that I saw not too long ago. And it was about this guy who was channeling energy, and he was talking about how we're so quick to run away from our fear. But if we looked at our fear and realized that our fear is telling us that there's a belief system here that no longer aligns with what it is that we're trying to do, and we look at fear and we say, hey, thank you, fear. I love you, fear. I'm so glad that you told me how to do that. I'm so glad that you reminded me of this so that I could fix it, or not fix it, but so that I could feel into it. And then our fear turns into joy, and we no longer run by our fear. And so that's basically the energy that's coming up here. You've done a lot, and you've been through a lot, and you've transformed a lot, and there's a lot of embracing your inner power. But I do feel like there's still that fear that, who am I? Like, what is my potential? And why is that so scary to you? Why is embracing your full potential so scary to you? And it's okay. That scares a lot of people more than anything else, is actually embracing our full potential. And I can't remember Miriam. Oh, I wish I could remember her last name. She has this beautiful quote about that. It's like, we're not actually afraid of success. We're afraid of the potential that we can embody. And that's so that for her to have this quote, it's, you're not alone in that. Right? You're not alone in fearing your own potential. You're not alone in fearing who you might become. Because it means that you're leaving behind everything and everyone that you knew, which for some is easy. But also it means breaking down ideas and beliefs that maybe you didn't realize you had, or maybe you didn't realize were holding on to you. And so this is a very spiritual time for you, and this is allowing you that opportunity to see it through the eyes of a child with curiosity and wonder, and saying like, oh, hey, that's some fear. Thanks for coming up, fear. I appreciate that you're there, because you're teaching me something that I didn't know before. You're helping me realize a part of myself that I'm ready to let go of. Instead of being like, oh, it's fear. Oh, I gotta work through this. Ew, oh, yuck, 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 right? No, it's appreciating the journey for what it is. And so that's what this feels like. This could also be, I'm hearing tantra. So maybe you're doing like tantric yoga, or you're practicing with tantra. And that can also help us dredge up a lot of those stuck emotions, because that's healing the sacral chakra. And that's where most of our feelings get stored, is in the sacral chakra, near the, and you've got the sacral chakra gemstone and the seed sound vom. And it's also stored in our sciatica, right? And our sciatica is one of the longest nerves. I think it's a nerve. It's one of the longest something in our body. It runs all the way from our mid back, down our leg, down the inside of our leg, all the way to our heel. It's huge. And I know this because that's the part of where my back got broke, and it hit my my sacrum, and yeah, it was no fun. Anyways, so there's this like healing, and it's this trusting the process and trusting the journey, and knowing that even though there's this serious part to the journey, like I still don't have to show up with this like, why are you so serious all the time? Like I can show up with a like, oh, okay, this is how it is, and I know what to do, and I'm ready to do it, and I'm excited to learn more about myself. Okay, so Source, what more would you like to share with pile number 2? Pile number 2, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? How can you unlock this universe's secret guidance for you? Okay, thank you. How can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Yeah, I also feel like letting go of the material world is coming in as well. So there might have been a deep attachment to all things material at some point. You might not be like that now, but I feel like that's what you're letting go of as well. And that could be quite frightening because the material world is what we've been raised on, right? It's what we've known our entire lives. It's what's in front of us. It's what we see with our eyes. It's what we feel with our fingers. It's what we experience, the money we earn. And so there's something here about, yeah, letting go of the material world. How do I hear that? Oh, oh, I'm a material girl, living in a material world. Is that a Madonna song? I don't know. I think it, Material Girl. I think that's the name of the song. But yeah, it's coming in, it kept coming in really strong. And so there's like something about your past where maybe you were embracing or really you were holding on to so tightly the material world. And look, trust me, that's not this, there's no judgment here, there's no blame or anything. Like, I've been there, I've done that too. It's something that I feel like for the spiritual journey we have to go through, because we're letting go of societal constructs. And what bigger societal construct is there than money? I mean, besides religion, I think money and religion are probably the two top ones. And it's like learning how to navigate the world, not being so attached to those things, not being so like rigid when it comes to those things, not being so like even arrogant at times. You know, it's like, oh, have you ever had a big bank band and you lorded that over someone? You know, it's almost like you didn't mean to. I'm not saying you did or you didn't. What I'm saying is like there's that energy that comes with this, like you're doing it because this is what everyone else does and you don't mean to, and after you do it you feel absolutely rotten. You're like, oh my gosh, like that just made me feel awful. Like, I thought that was supposed to make me feel better, but then you actually see the truth behind it. What else, source? Now I have that song stuck in my head. Oh, I'm a material girl, live in a material world. Yeah, this is about it's like reforming and re-registering is what I'm hearing, your emotional boundaries. This could be with yourself even, right? With the 7 of Cups here on the bottom. Redefining what those boundaries mean to you. Tapping into that emotional side. You know, this is Scorpio energy. And Scorpios, if you have any Scorpio placements, you know Scorpios dig into the depths. They are a deep sign, and they teach the other signs not to fear the darkness. And I know there's a lot of people that might argue with me on that, but I have never seen anybody embrace the darkness like a Scorpio. Most everyone, they're just like, no, 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 I don't want to go into that. That's why we have the facing fears and facing karmas and leaving legacies. And there's inheritance that comes with that, secret monies, secrets, jealousy, envy. These are all energies that reside. What is up with this card? Do you see it? It has not moved this whole time, and now I cannot get it to stay straight. Watch. Is it going to do it again? Okay, that was weird. I know the camera caught it, because I moved my hand and it went and it tilted itself. Let's see. Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Okay, whatever. But that, I feel like that's what we're saying here. It's like that energy where you have those feelings and that deep, jealousy that's arising, but also that energy, the equal opposite is true, right? Is being able to let go, being able to embrace and empower ourselves, and to stand in our own abilities that we have. Like, what is it that we're going to leave as a legacy, and taking that step forward into that. We see here, it's like interesting that the 3 of Coins is what was kept moving. And so at the center of your reading, we recognize that this is something that's falling apart. This is something that's no longer has a foundation in your life, but it is still something that might be hanging on. And it's just going through that process again and again and again, right? If you didn't catch the collective reading, that would explain this even deeper for you if that's something you would like to check out. It is timestamped in the description box as well. But it talks about those levels, and it's almost like peeling back the layers of an onion. That's what healing is. There is no true like, oh, I did this one layer and I'm free of this for forever. And I feel like sometimes we've convinced ourselves that that's it. Like, I've overcome this one thing and I never have to heal it again. And whew, I wish that were true. I wish, because it's like there's still things to this day that I know I've gone through time and time and time and time and time and time again, and it still comes up. It still is something that it will trigger me randomly, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, I've already faced this part of myself. I've already not been triggered by this, but there's some aspect of it that arises to the top because I peeled back so many layers, and so now I'm learning how to heal or to face. Maybe we shouldn't say it's healing. Maybe we should just say it's facing. It's facing a new side of ourselves, right? Maybe it's not about healing because we already are enough, but we do have to face aspects of ourselves that we've buried deep within. Wow, yeah. So we have the 2 of coins. Interesting. And the 4 of swords. So already they're pointing out the fact that this is something that has been almost like pressed upon you over and over again. And it's like your family or your friends or everybody around you, they all acted this way. It was all about the money. All about, I got my mind on my money. What is that, a Snoop Dogg song? Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Yeah, so it's like, that's it. And it's like everybody is like pressing this upon you. And I feel like at times it's like this is just almost resigning to it. Like, this is the way I have to live. But it's the materialistic side of it that's keeping you from that guidance that you need from source. And it's okay. Right? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just there's this relinquishing something. There's been a lot of twists and turns. There's been so many things that you have had to go through, and it's almost like letting go of the money itself. It's like, well, what about what's next? What's around the bend? What am I going to go through? Like, what if there's an emergency? What if there's this? And so a lot of what ifs coming in, which are preventing you from letting go of the true hold that this has on you. And I feel like from the 4 of Swords here, just pointing towards how much family, how much people around you have pressured you into believing that this is the only way life can be lived. So this feels like starving artist energy. That's what it feels like. It's almost like you want to be an artist, whatever that means to you. But the family and your friends have all convinced you that if you go and do this thing that you love so much, you're just going to be a starving artist, and everybody else is going to have to support you, and no one wants to do that, and you're going to be to such a huge burden. But are you really? Because if that's where your heart is leading you, right? Again, setting those boundaries, sometimes you have to take that leap of faith and trust that things are going to work out. And that might mean trusting that you're going to make a lot less than what you were making, but is it enough to survive? Right? And sometimes that's hard because it's like, well, what is it that you need to survive? Not what it is that you need to have all these luxuries that we have, but what is it that you need to survive? And sometimes that's where we get tripped up, is because we're thinking that luxuries are a part of our survival. People say the phone, it's not a luxury, it's a survival. But the truth is the phone is a huge luxury that so many people have. Go and talk to someone who doesn't have a phone. Ask them, is it a need for survival? Is it truly? And that's the funny thing. And I'm not saying you need to be without your phone. That's not what this is. What I'm saying is that those are the ideas that we've convinced ourselves that this is something that I have to have for survival. But is it? Is it a basic necessity? Is it food? Is it water? Is it shelter? Is it clothing? These are basic necessities that we need. And even in times, of struggle, there's some people who don't even have those basic necessities met. But I feel like this is something that family has impressed upon you, is that if you do this, if you take this chance, if you take this opportunity, you're going to end up like somebody who's homeless, or you're going to end up like somebody who's begging for money, or you're going to end up on everybody's couch and nobody wants that. And so this feels like somebody somewhere along the way has made you feel like a burden, or that's something that you felt for a huge portion of your life, which is why you've relied so heavily on making your own money and making this good money, even though maybe you're potentially miserable here. Okay, and so it's like letting go of the material aspect of it. Letting go of that will help you step into the more spiritual aspect of life and receiving that guidance that you're looking for, the next step ahead. It doesn't mean you won't receive it at all if you don't do this, but there's something more powerful about this. There's like that secret guidance. When we think of secret guidance, it's almost like this is something that you're doing. It's like learning what you need to as quickly as you can. I want to take the fastest route to get there. Can we manipulate the journey to do that? Yes and no. Yes and no. And I'll say yes and no, because the thing is that yes, we can if we're willing to relinquish all the things that we have a hold on. And no, because most of the time, us as humans, that's a very impossible ask. And we have to do it in a very slow, methodical way. So that's just it. It's like, but that's what Source is bringing up. This next thing for you to move to the next level right now, this is what's coming up. Is it okay if you don't let it go tomorrow? Is it okay if you don't let it go in a year? Yes, that's okay. Is it okay if you do let it go tomorrow? Yes, that's okay. Is it okay if you do let it go in a year? Yes, that's okay. Like, there's no right or wrong here. There's only what's right or wrong for you. And receiving this guidance is planting the seed, helping you, and you nourishing that and watering that and realizing, like, I'm going to be okay. Source will provide me with everything that I need. Maybe not with what I want, but what I need. And focusing on that right now is the most powerful thing. And sometimes we get so tied up with manifestation, we get so tied up in with what we want, that we forget to focus on just basic necessities. And sometimes that's why people are like, but I need this money. I need this. I need that. I need this. And it's like, really, do you though? Or are those wants? And we have replaced desires with necessities. And that's what society has taught us, to replace desires with necessities. But when you have nothing, you begin to learn and it's like almost relearning what a true necessity is to you. And that's it. It's like, if you can take care of all your necessities, aren't you taken care of? Of course you want to do better than that. But for the time being, this is what Source is asking. If you can take care of all your necessities, then you're taken care of. And what comes will come. You have everything that you need. So making sure that you're taking care of your basic necessities right now. Yes, it might be less than what you had before. It might be not as grand as you had before. It might not be as shiny as what everyone expects it to be. But approaching this with that, this is what I have, this is what I need, this is everything that I could need and ever want. This is like reframing how we look at what we desire in life. Are all those shiny things really as truly as important as we've said they are? And coming into the shadow work with that sense of wonder will help you to see this. You know, think about as a kid. That's the thing they keep bringing back, this idea of being a child. And what I say by being a child is not being a dependent. It's just that mindset of a child. Does a child truly need all of these toys to play? No. At the end of the day, if you don't give a child a toy, what are they going to do? They're going to use their imagination. They already have everything that they need right now to have a good time. Does the toy make it more interesting? Sure, maybe for a little while, until they get bored with it and then they go back to playing with their imagination again. So, you know, it's ultimately the tools that we receive are just that. They're just tools to kind of help grease the imaginative wheels within ourselves. Wow. You had so much coming through, Pile 2. What else would you like to say here today, Source? On the bottom, we have Earth energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, persistence, patience, and practicality. So having a practical mindset being persistent on your journey, but also having patience as things turn out, right? We're not expecting things to happen overnight. The more that we try to force things to happen overnight, the more we force that away from ourselves. Okay. And this is where real change comes from, too. The unknown. Going through the gates. Yeah, stepping into the unknown. This is what I'm saying. Like, you might really benefit, if you feel called to it, you might really benefit from the collective reading that I did at the beginning of the reading. Because there's a lot of synchronicities between that reading and this reading. But again, it is collective energy, so that makes sense. But this unknown, going through the gates. It's like letting go of what you've always known and stepping into a place where things are a little uncertain. They're a little shaky. Like, I don't know what's next. But that's also a part of the adventure. And that's also a part of how we empower ourselves. True love. Interesting. We have this love is once in a lifetime. That's an interesting card to come out, but it flipped over and it flipped out. So maybe this has to do with love. Like, you think that if I don't have money, I can't have love, or there's something tied to you taking this heart's journey that's going to lead you to love, is what they're saying. So if you want love, if that's what you want in your life, then following your heart's desire and not the material gain is what's going to bring you that true love. Yeah, and appreciating this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and to find love. So appreciating the small things is very important here. It's vital. But yeah, that's what this feels like here. It's almost like maybe you've been asking for true love. Look, and that's interesting. This is the 30 card. Yeah, this is the 30 card. Look at this. And this is the number 33. Can you see that? So we have 333. And I put it over the 3. Oh my goodness. Didn't even realize that. So this is about your angels coming to you and they're helping you. This is also about creativity. You know, the number 3 for me is about guidance from your angels. It's also tied with our potential, our creativity, our ability to bring forth what we desire into this realm. So there's this creative aspect that's coming forth that they're pointing towards, that when you go into that creative part of yourself, you're going to be drawn to the things that you love, including potentially a partner that you deeply love. Whoa. Acceptance. Accepting where you are. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. Yeah, so accepting where you are on the journey is also a very powerful place to come from. So what if you don't have $1 million? Does that make you less of a person? I'll never forget this. I have a nephew and I love him to death. But I was talking to him once and he's very fancy. He's a very fancy kid. He likes to wear all his clothes match, his shoes match his clothes, his hats match his clothes. Like he's one of those kids that dresses to the nines, and it's all about name brands for him. And I'll never forget the conversation that I had with him once, because he's like, I have to get these name brand stuff for school. And I was like, oh, I said, why? And he's like, because it's my image. And I asked him one question. I said, if you don't get those things, what does that make you? And he stopped and he thought about it. And he goes, me? And I was like, exactly. And that was such a weird, it was a really cool realization for him. Like, he had to stop and think about it. And then he was like, just me? Like, you know, it's like helping you realize that name brand doesn't actually impact your image as much as you think. Ultimately, in 15 years, no one's going to remember the shoes that he wore. They might remember that he might have been dressed to the nines, but they're not going to ultimately remember what he wore on what day and how that made him the cool kid or whatever. It's not going to matter in 15 years. So why should it matter today? The things that matter in 15 years, those are the things that should matter today. So think about what matters to you in 15 years. Will it matter in 30 years? We're so caught up in how we feel in this moment sometimes that we can't get past that feeling. And the feeling is actually fleeting. That's why we call them like the passing of clouds. So it's just interesting that I would be reminded of that. It's been a long time since we had that conversation. We have denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with insight of awareness. Yeah, so there might have been a denial here. There could have even been a denial that you've been in this energy, right? I've never been like that. I'm not that person. Look, I was there too. I denied ever being a materialistic person, and then tell you what, you can keep denying it, but Source will humble you real quick. Real quick. Eventually, Source will come in and show you that, yeah, there's parts of you that are in that energy. And especially if you were raised in a family that was very, very, very conscious of money and every penny that was spent, and like in a really ruthless way. Because that's what this feels like. It feels like you grew up in a type of ruthless environment when it came to money. So for you, you might not see yourself as like your parents or your grandparents, but not realizing that you too also hold those traits because naturally you were raised in that environment. Sometimes it's hard for us to see that part about ourselves. So it's just about letting that part go. Yeah, Saturn, time for tough love. It's a tough message. I'm glad I said the the trigger warning at the beginning. So this is Saturn energy. This is tough love. This is a difficult situation to go through, but with its purpose of helping you to let go so that you can embrace, I was going to say, so you can embrace Jupiter energy and success flew out. Wow, I just had a huge deja vu. I have definitely done this reading in a dream. Whoa, that is interesting. Okay, we're just going to go with it. And it doesn't feel like it was that long ago either. So we have success coming through for you. Yeah, this is something that's meant to be in your life. Success. But what does success truly mean to you? Is it money? Or is it having lived your dreams? Or is it having traveled to the places you wanted to go, right? Like, I feel like success for you is so much more than the money that's in your pocket. And that's why I feel like it might be easy for you to deny ever having felt this way. But again, you might not have felt this way. It just might have been traits that you had obtained from living with family or friends who were like this. It's something that is subconscious with the 8th house. We've got anxiety. Yeah, okay, so you could have had a lot of anxiety when it came to money. Or this is a situation that causes a lot of anxiety for you, which is understandable as well. And that energy is just reminding us that this is something that's not in resonance with us any longer, and that we can face it and let it go. So we do have Taurus energy here. Trust, patience again, and sensuality. Trusting that everything will work out as it's meant to work out for you. And also coming into that place of self-love, right? And really remembering that stability is an internal action. So when we take stability within ourselves seriously, then we're able to manifest stability in the outer realm. Sharing, again, number 33. Look at that. What? There is giving and receiving and giving. So this feels like there's more than enough, right? I had an affirmation a long time ago, and it's been a while since I said it because I always change up my affirmations, but I said this for years and years and years. It's like, each and every day I make enough money to share and to spare. That was something that I said all the time, and that really changed my outlook on what I saw money as. And it really does. It changes the way you see it. It's like, because there's enough to spare and to share, but if you had money to spare today, would you share it? Would you give it to someone you saw on the side of the road? Sometimes giving $5 to someone on the side of the road who's asking for money, it reminds us of that many times maybe we weren't so far away from a situation like that, or even some of us could have been in a situation like that. But there are so many people out there that are like, no, I'll never help them. Like, they already have jobs, or they need to get jobs, or we don't know their stories. We don't know what they went through. Who are we to withhold compassion just because we don't know this person's story? I'll never forget growing up, my mom and my grandma were convinced that every homeless person was a drunk. And maybe they were. Maybe they were. But I never felt that way growing up. I always gave money when I could. And, like this idea of it helped me with that. And there were times when I got chastised by family for doing that. And so that could be why you're reliving certain traits of the family, is because you got chastised for being in this sharing energy, right? So this could be just residing. It's almost like backsliding into an energy because it was easier. All right, so solar eclipse, we have watch for doors of opportunity. Watch them to swing open. Like, this is a powerful energy. Like, there's tons of opportunities for you with success and solar eclipse coming out together. There's a lot of shifting energy in your life right now, which of course facing our shadow brings a lot of change. It brings a lot of shifts into our lives. It's a very powerful energy. So this really does feel like good things are coming for you after a period of hardship, helping you to recognize a deeper part of yourself. And that's what Source is saying. The guidance is there, but maybe you're just not able to see those opportunities right now because of this past situation or this material energy that you're holding on to. And it could be the material manifestation of something as well. Maybe you're holding so tightly on what it should look like or how it should be, or, you know, that we get stuck on that too. Or like, it has to come today or it has to come tomorrow, instead of just letting it be what it's meant to be, right? Like, if you are a songwriter, some people can write a song in one go, but some people, they need weeks to write a song. So it's just like, everybody's different, but can you be okay and accept the difference of yourself? Wow, a squirrel just jumped on the tree right here and a whole branch just went down the window. Yeah, can you take a leap? Can you trust that you're gonna be caught? Okay, even though that branch bent, it didn't break. It caught the squirrel. But that might have felt really crazy for the squirrel. He was holding on for dear life, but you will always be caught. And I feel like sometimes that's that hard realization that we have to come into with the trusting. To trust, it's hard to trust, especially for our whole lives. We've had people in our lives that we couldn't trust, and now we're being asked to trust something that we can't even see. Trust that it's going to be there for us. Trust that Source is always going to take care of us. It's like, if I can't trust a person, how am I supposed to trust this omnipresence? How am I supposed to trust this being that's there? And that's, you know, that's the challenge of it. But it's also rewarding once you step into that, and practicing with your faith and practicing with your prayers. You know, it's all a process. And don't expect it to come overnight, but allow yourself to embrace the process of it. And I feel like that's exactly what they're saying here in the dice, is to embrace the process of the shadow work. It doesn't need to be more serious than it already is. Oh my gosh. What the heck just happened? I mean, seriously, I didn't even have to say it. The shadow. What? I need a drink of water. I need a drink of water. I'm flabbergasted. What? The shadow. Oh my gosh. Pile number 2. Wow. Like, thank you for being you. Just, if no one's told you, I want to tell you, thank you for being you. This is next level. This is why I love doing this. It's just, there's every day something happens in one of these readings that continues to leave me utterly speechless and floored, mouth on the floor, jaw wide open. I just can't. That is incredible. All right, so what did your cards say? We have contemplate on the following scientific observation. The closer an object, person, place, or community it is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. Interesting. It says, in the shadow of the gods are the very gods themselves. Reflect on this statement by James Hillman in A Blue Fire. What do you despise about yourself? By answering, you move toward the shadow. It says, the unspeakable, the unwelcome, the denied. Although every card in this archetype deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of the shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole. Rather than getting to know the qualities and content of our shadow, we busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it's time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with, no, anything but that, you are touching the shadow. Find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. Wow. When in light, you're revealing unconscious aspects of the self and the world. When in dark, you're denying unconscious aspects of the self and the world. To go deeper, you can check out Owning Your Own Shadow by R. Johnson. Wow. Like, so synchronistic, your reading. The energy was very clear. Very clear from the get-go. Very clear from when we started, even with the dice. I mean, what are the odds you're going to get the 8th house and Pluto, which talk about going into the shadow, dealing with the shadow, transforming the shadow? But there's this element of doing it in a unique way, like not taking it so seriously, but asking those questions. When you come in with this lighthearted energy, it allows you to approach the shadow with curiosity rather than resistance. And that's what they're saying here. This was an incredible reading. Wow. Okay, so this is what I see here for you. Pile number 2, if you felt like this was your reading, leave the little black heart emoji. I know it seems scary, right? But I feel like that's so fitting for you here. Leave the black heart emoji down below and say, I choose to adventure into the shadow realms, knowing that through my curiosity, I reveal more of my true self in the light. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It has everything you need. With that, I would love to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly profound message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this yellow jasper for the solar plexus chakra with the seed sound yam on it, or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on how you can unlock the universe's secret guidance for you. First, I'd like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of the journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time in this space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things completely differently here on this channel. So that being said, if you would like to claim this reading, or if this reading happens to resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. First and foremost, I'm just going to mention that this could be a potential trigger warning. I don't know where your reading is going to go. However, after the first 2, I realized that this is something that I need to say on this reading. I did get it in on pile 2, but I did not on pile 1 because I just wasn't sure what was going to come through on these readings. But we are getting really deep into some situations that could be potential blockages, and with that could come some triggers. So keeping an open mind as we go into this reading, and if you trigger easily, that is a-okay. If you feel like this is not the reading for you, that is also a-okay. This is for those of you that are ready to get in and do this work right now, which not everybody's going to, and that's not a big deal, right? Everybody's at different points of their journey. So let's go ahead and hop to it, and we're going to find out. Pile number 3, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Source, what messages would you like to bring forth today? Pile number 3, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Source, what would you like to share with pile number 3? Okay, and you've got the 3rd house. Interesting. So we've got the 3rd house, we've got Aries energy and Pluto. This is transmuting the way that you think, the way that you see the world. And that's hard. Oh, that's really hard because it's like I live my life this way and now I'm being asked to change the way I live my life based on how I see the world around me. But there's a thought process here that you've been taking action based on, or inaction, right? There could be an inaction here based on your way of reasoning, your way of logic. And logic is powerful. Our reasoning is powerful as well. And it is something that is necessary in this realm. But sometimes we can get so focused on the logic that we forget about tuning into the more emotional side of ourselves. There's something here that's coming in, though. It's almost as though, I mean, with Pluto coming out, definitely referring to the secret, right? The secret energy that you're not yet able to tap into, the mystery. There's like the transformation here, the evolution of the subconscious. There's a lot of intensity and deep emotions, that upheaval, facing our fears, unearthing something that might be potentially causing us unknown harm. So there's a lot of energy here about really upheaval. That upheaval energy is coming in. Okay, and this has to do with the way you see your siblings, your peers. This could be how you were raised in your educational place, the thinking in the mind, the way you communicate, social activities, the media, your neighbors, people around you. There's something here that needs to shift on the way that you see people around you. Possibly being more direct. This is how you open up to receiving this guidance. It's like overcoming that fear that's there. Maybe being more of a leader in your life. There could be a bit of impulsive energy that's coming through, like I impulsively do this. So maybe like you don't talk to a lot of people, but this is just the example they're sharing with me. You don't talk to a lot of people, but then suddenly when you do talk to people, it's like word vomit. I'm going to share everything that I can with this person because I don't know when the next person I'm going to talk to is. Or it could be the complete opposite of that, where you don't talk to people, and when you do get a chance to talk to people, you still don't talk to people. So there's something here about opening up, being more bold on your journey, opening up to even yourself. I feel like this is even opening up to yourself and being bold when it comes to your way of thinking and your way of perceiving the world. You know, that can definitely be a challenge at times. It's like, this is just the way that I am. But the minute that we resign to that is the minute we resign to the journey. We say, I'm no longer capable of living this journey. I'm no longer capable of learning anything because that's just the way that I am. When we know that's not true, the only consistent that there is in this life that we live is change. So opening up to the potential of change, which has for sure been a common denominator across the readings. And really quickly, if you've chosen to watch all 3 piles with me, I appreciate you. You're a part of my Purple Heart Club. Leave a purple heart down below. And if you are just here for pile number 3, thank you. I appreciate you for joining in on this reading. Let's get a little bit more on this. Source, what more would you like to say to pile number 3? It's almost like, honestly, okay. So I'm getting this message where it's like you've been told that you're going to be a leader. And you're cool with that. But I'm also getting with that there's an inaction with that. It's almost as if you're expecting, or there's a part of you that is expecting everybody just to know that you're a leader without having to do leadership things, which sometimes are hard things. That's what it feels like here. It's almost like, well, I just don't want to do the hard things, but I still want to be a leader. It's like if you get say you get a management position, you know, and all you want are the positive benefits of being a manager. But you don't want to do the hard things that come with being a manager. Well, you know, that doesn't make you a very reliable employee. Right? And it's like, well, but I shouldn't have to do those things. But at the end of the day, if it's in the job description, that's part of your job. And that's what this feels like. So, I mean, it could be something like that, but it could just be in general. Like you're here to lead the people, but it's almost like you don't want to be too direct with people. Like a fear of being direct with people for fear of being taken the wrong way. But sometimes you just have to be direct with people. It doesn't mean you have to be crass, but it means that when you're direct, do it in a sense of compassion. So pile number 3, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Yeah, this is something that is in the mind that you can overcome. How can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you, pile number 3? Okay, thank you, Source. What more would you like to come through? Pile number 3, how can you unlock the universe's secret guidance for you? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely success here. There's definitely this energy of having abundance after a time of struggle. But I'm afraid to make a choice. Yeah, so this is like wishy-washy energy. It's like maybe your whole life you could have been a people pleaser, and then to step up into leadership energy is difficult for a people pleaser because it means that there are going to be people who don't like you. And the thought of that could be incredibly overwhelming. But I'm keep focusing on the Aries energy here, and it's like being very direct. You know, if you have Aries in your chart, you'll know what I mean. And if you don't, if you know an Aries, like Aries can be very, they can be very brash at times and very abrasive, right? If they have something to say, most of the time an Aries is going to say it. Like they're just going to say it. They're not going to care whose feelings they hurt. It's not that they're not empathetic. They are. It's just when they need to get something off their chest, they're going to get it off their chest. And then the great thing about Aries, because they're the baby of the zodiac, they go on like life is never changed, right? You know, like when a kid needs to get something off their chest, they're the same way. They say what they need to say, and then that's it. I feel better. Cool. We can go back to being friends. We can go back to being cool with one another. Like, it's a very innocent approach to being direct. But I feel like that's something that bothers you at times, is like that directness, because it feels like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to make people hate me because of having to say the things that I need to say. You could be in a very high level, high stress type of position. This is also coming in like maybe some type of legal, like you're in a legal job, a mediator. You could even be like counseling, something like that. There's some form of direction. Oh, I just heard youth counseling here too. There's also like dealing with people who maybe have gotten out of prison is coming in. Like, I don't know, what do you call that? Not a parole officer, but someone that helps redirect their life. I think there's like a counselor for that, or some sort of social worker for that. So you could be in a type of situation like that, or a type of work that's like that, and you want the leadership role, but there's also this fear that's arising where, like, if I have to make people hate me just because I have to tell them something that is out of your control, right? This is just what's coming in. It's like you could even be like a tarot reader. You could be even someone who's a channeler, or someone who receives message. Automatic writing is coming in as well. So there's a lot that's coming in where it's like you're receiving something, or you're given a policy to follow, and having to display that information or bring that information to someone has the potential of hurting this person. There's a fear that's being brought through here. It's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I can do that, because I know if it was something I didn't want to hear, like, I know how I would take it. And that's what makes it so empathetic, because you are immediately putting yourself in their shoes. You're immediately saying, like, I would understand exactly how I would take it. And that's what gives you so much more power to come from a place of compassion. Like, you don't have to be cruel, right? You can still come with this information in a very kind way. But people nowadays are mistaken, you know, having to deal with something that they don't like as toxic. And that's not necessarily true, right? Like, we're so quick to label everything as toxic. And so there's this stigma around having to present any kind of information that could be potentially triggering. But we need that in this life. We need people who are going to trigger others into healing. We need people who are going to trigger others into taking action for themselves. If you're a trigger, your job is to just simply be the trigger. It's not to worry about how other people observe that or take that information in. That's their role, right? That's not your business. That's their business. But we have it so ingrained in our lives that we have to take accountability, or we have to take credit for how another person feels. And we can't. That's a heavy burden to bear. And so that's what it feels like here. There's this energy that's arising where it's like you want this and you want to overcome it, but there's a decision that needs to be made. And the decision is what is tripping you up right now. It's like, I'm ready to do it, but then the minute that information arises, yeah, it's the fear that's coming with that. And the fear comes from maybe having been oppressed as a child, or maybe having family who is that way. I don't care if I trigger you. I don't care if I make you feel a bad way. Like, and I don't even care if you feel bad. I'm not even going to come and ask you how you're doing. Like, I'm not going to be empathetic towards your situation. That's what this feels like. It's almost like you've gone through the thick of it, having people not care about how you ended up. And in turn, it's like, well, I don't want to leave other people in that situation. But at the end of the day, pile 3, like if people feel that way and you do show up and you lend an empathetic ear, sometimes there's going to be multiple things that happen. One, they're not going to care because you're the one that delivered the bad news. Oh, and so now you're going to feel sorry for me? You should have felt sorry for me before you delivered the bad news. 2, they're going to see an opportunity to try to take advantage. 3, you may get some people who appreciate that you're kind and that you're empathetic and compassionate. But ultimately, once somebody's received information, or once somebody has gotten whatever it is that you're communicating out, you have to leave it to them. And that feels cold and it feels ruthless, especially if you're an empath. It's like, well, I wouldn't want someone just to leave it with me, especially if it was difficult energy. But how many times along the way, pile 3, have you had to really take accountability for how you felt about certain things? No one else could come to your rescue and be like, oh, you don't have to feel that. Let me take that away from you. That's why there's hesitation here. And it's a confusing feeling too, because it's like, well, I want to be in this high position, or I want to have this ability, or want to go down this road. But I also, there's that conundrum, like I don't want to embrace all sides of it. And that's why it's been hard for you to receive that higher guidance, because Source is telling you, like, this is what you were designed for. And because that's what you were designed for, it means you were also designed to have thick skin in a way that many people don't. And you see things in ways that people don't. But sometimes we can't be the one that saves people. They have to save themselves in order for them to gain access to their own thick skin. Yeah, it's almost like these unpleasant realizations. People are looking at it as like, oh no, pile 3 is bringing too much noise. They're bringing too much drama. Because they've realized something that should have stayed behind closed door. That's why I'm saying, like, you're a trigger. You trigger people. And that part of it doesn't bother you. Like, it's not the fact that you're someone who triggers others into healing. That's not what bothers you. What bothers you is how a person might look at you after the fact. After that happens. That's that people-pleasing energy coming in. That's that I want people to like me. But you will have success with this, okay? And I feel like there's going to be someone here who stands up for you as well. If you don't already have that, they're coming. But there's going to be someone who comes in and says, look, people are going to be crazy. Okay? But what you do helps. And the fact that it helps should far outweigh these people who can't handle it. So I feel like there's going to be someone who comes in who's incredibly blunt with you. And that bluntness is also going to give you courage to be blunt as well. But there's something about you embracing it on your own. And it's like and it's interesting because the person that's coming in isn't even going to be in the industry that you're in. But I feel like this person's going to benefit from what you do. Or I'm like, yeah, I was triggered by you too, but I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you helped me. Like, you're going to be so honest. Somebody is going to be so honest with you. You're going to be like, what the heck? Like, nobody's ever this honest. But there's a decision that has to be made. Yeah. You manifested this. You wanted this. This is something you want. Like, you desire this. This is something that's in alignment with your heart. This is something in alignment with your journey. But the thing that's holding you back right now is needing to make this decision. That wishy-washy energy. Back and forth. I don't know. Like, I want to be able to help people, but I know I'm going to trigger people if I go down this road. The source is saying, like, you already have thick skin. You've dealt with every kind of trigger there is. You're facing your own triggers right now. Every time you get triggered, you're not blaming a person for showing up. You might wonder why somebody shows up in a crazy kind of way or sideways. You might wonder that, but ultimately you're like, I'm the one that was triggered. I need to face that part of myself. So what do I need to focus on? What do I need to heal? But for whatever reason, it's almost like you're holding yourself up to higher standards than other people. And it's kind of a strange situation because I wouldn't normally say this or even express this, but it's coming through. It's almost as if you're needing to hold people up to the same standards you hold yourself up to. Like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I said this. And yeah, it wasn't pleasant, but ultimately at the end of the day, this is yours to make or break it. You either take what you've been given and you take your lemons and you make lemonade, or you take your lemons and you wonder, what the heck are these things? They're too sour to eat. I might as well just throw them away. You're passing on tools to people, though. There's something here where you're passing on useful tools to people. But you're not seeing it as useful unless it's physically seeing someone getting helped with it. You know, it's like, it's the ones that worry you, the ones that are like, that shouldn't have been said at all. So it's like, information. Like, that's why I'm saying, like counselor energy here. There's like therapy energy coming in here. There's psychic energy that's coming in here. There's a lot of energy that's like, things that most people don't know. And that's what makes it even more sensitive for people, because it's like you have access, or you have the ability to tap into that information. And it's scary because it's like, things that they wouldn't even tell their closest friends and family. And knowing that, it's like, well, what the heck? Like, pile 3, you're not even supposed to know this at all. I don't even tell this to nobody. So how do you know it? But it could be from a file. It could just be from, understanding their situation. It could just be from being as empathetic as you are. You know how to put their shoes on and walk a mile. There's different scenarios that are coming through here, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that you're so compassionate and kind that you're not afraid to try on this person's storyline for a little while, which puts you in a very vulnerable position with them, and it opens their vulnerabilities up. And a lot of people will lash out the minute they feel vulnerable because they feel weak. And that, at the end of the day, is not your fault. Even though you're everything that everybody wants in their life, but that so many people will run away from the minute it shows up. And that's really disheartening, because it's like, well, if the world needs me, then why does the world reject me? It's because the world didn't know they needed you until you arrived. And that's what this feels like. And that's what's blocking you right now from receiving your guidance. It's like, yes, I really want this position. I really want to step up into this leadership role. I really want to do this. But can we just let go of the, let's just do the fun and fluffy stuff, and we'll leave the trigger and stuff. And sources over here like, no, you're a trigger. That's how I made you. That's what it is. You're a trigger. You have a way of seeing the world from a viewpoint that so many people have a hard time grasping onto, but you're a walking, talking, breathing, living person of the way you see the world. You don't say, I see the world with roses and rainbows, and then go and live in the shadows. Whatever you say the world is to you, you're living that. You're an example of it. Ooh, this is, wow. I feel this in my heart. I feel this in my heart chakra. That's why it's interesting, because you pick the solar plexus. So it's like the action here that needs to be taken. That's the one that's, it's like, nope. Even though this is something you're incredibly passionate about. And it definitely stokes the fire. But mentally, you're the one that's pouring the water on your own passionate fire because of the fear of discovering sensitive information and passing that on, whatever comes with that sensitive information, right? So say someone is, they keep telling me like someone's on parole. You could be a parole officer, but it feels deeper than that. Like this is just the example they're showing me. So say someone's on parole and you find out that they have overstepped one of their whatever. I don't know how all that works. I really don't. But anyways, and they have these rules that they have to follow, and they overstepped one of the rules. And say it's a 3 strikes you're out system, or it could be a 2 strikes you're out system, whatever it is. But you go and you tell them, you're like, look, Dean, you've been doing so good, right? You've been doing an amazing job, and here's the problem. You overstepped one of your rules and regulations. If you do this again, unfortunately, you're going to have to go back. But all the other times that you work with Dean, you're always being able to tell him how good he's doing. You're always telling him how amazing he is. You're always telling him all these amazing things about him. And like, he's really stepped up. He's contributing. He's becoming, you know, a stand-up citizen. But then there's this one time that he messed up, that he stepped over the lines, and you have to deliver the bad news. Excuse me. And that's what this feels like. And it doesn't have to be parole. Like that's just the example they're giving me. That's what they're showing me right now. It's almost like when kids get in trouble at school, and it's like, if you mess up again, you're going to get suspended. And that's going to go on your school record. And maybe that's not as important today to kids as it was back when I was growing up. But, you know, that's what it feels like. It's like you have to deliver that bad news. And so you have to call the parents and be like, look, Susan, she stepped out of line again, and the next time she's going to get suspended for 2 weeks. And so we're going to have to figure out, you know, how to make this. And that could be the parent gets triggered, and it's like, well, it's your job to take care of her. She's there all day. And you're like, actually, this is something that's coming from home. And if you need options, I have those options. But it's like the minute that her mom got triggered, it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is not what I want to deal with. That's what it feels like. Well, but you have such a powerful way with people too. I mean, that's why I was saying it could be counseling. It could be a psychic ability. It could be anything. There's something here that you're meant to express outward, right? Especially with the 3rd house, but it's the way you view this situation, right? This, oh my gosh, I have damaging information. That's what I just heard. I have damaging information, but is it truly damaging? Like when we get triggered, is that truly damaging? Or is it an opportunity? It's the way we view it. That's how we frame it, is what it becomes to us. So if we frame a trigger as damaging, it becomes damaging. But if we reframe a trigger as an opportunity, then it becomes an opportunity. And for you, Pile 3, I feel like every trigger is an opportunity for you, and you see it that way. But it's hard for you to see that as that same energy for other people. Yeah, fixed. We have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius with stability, persistence, loyalty, and dependability. Like, you are very loyal when it comes to this. This is something you really like to do, but there's also that stubbornness that's coming through with this fixed energy as well. You know, fixed energies, they don't like change. They don't like to change. They don't like to move from one season to the next because they're the middle of each season. They're the height of the season, right? When it's on either side of them is their season. So you have summer on either side of you. That's Leo, right? You have fall on either side of you. That's Virgo. It's like, or I'm sorry, that is, wow. Hold on. I just totally forgot my signs. That would be Scorpio, right? So that's at the height of the season. They're at the height of the season, right? You have Aquarius for the height of winter. Okay, you have Taurus for the height of spring. So they don't like change. They're not like a mutable sign. They're not like a cardinal sign. They're fixed. And they're fixed. That fixed energy is stubborn. And that's what it feels like. There's a stubborn energy here that's coming through. Like, I just want to be one part of this and not the whole. But unfortunately, it comes with the whole. Like, there's no getting around the other side of it. And it doesn't even have to be as complex as giving people information. It could just be that that's the position that you want in your job, but there's one aspect of it that you're like, no, I just don't want to deal with that, but I love everything else about the job. You know, we can't have everything all at once. This life is full of dualistic energy, and so everything that we love, there's also going to be a dualistic side to it that we perchance don't love. We have emotional energy. Yeah. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. So you're actually an incredibly emotionally mature person. Like, you have done a ton of healing, pile 3. You've done a lot of looking at yourself and understanding where you're coming from. There's not really a lot that bothers you, although you still get triggered from time to time. But you've come into this place of emotional stability. And yeah, it's like you don't expect that from others, which is what that innocence that's there. It's actually very endearing, but it also can get you into trouble sometimes because of that. Like I said, it's like, oh, you know, like I'm going to extend that compassionate hand to everyone, which you should do, right? That's the way that we're going is that compassionate hand. But also, how much is too much? And sometimes it's like, you know, hey, I'm really sorry that you had to hear this information today. And if they're like, well, then you shouldn't have given it to me. And it's like, I could see how you might think that. But if I hadn't have given you this information today, then it would have been a complete surprise. And you would have been mad that it was a complete surprise because it's not good information. So it's better that you know about it now. And let's see what our options are. Right? So it's like, it's preparing them for the worst, but sometimes people just, they don't like that. They don't like being prepared for the worst. They don't like the worst because everybody wants rainbow and unicorn farts, and that's how they want the world to be, but this is not that world. Maybe one day we'll all live in that world, but this is not that world. It's just not. It's full of ups and downs and twists and turns and all around. So it's just the way it is. Yeah, look, practice compassion, but look, see things from a fresh perspective. That's what we've been talking about, how you're seeing this, the way you're viewing the situation. You're already a compassionate person. So how can you use that compassion to help switch up the way you see what it is that you have to do about this position that you don't necessarily like? I don't feel like it's anything illegal or bad. That's not what this is coming to. I just feel like there's just one policy or one aspect of this position that you're like, I don't know. I don't like that. I just don't like doing that. That's just like, I would like to give that to someone else. I would like to delegate my responsibilities today, and I would like to give everyone else the part of this that I don't like, but I'll make sure I get everything else done. But unfortunately, you can't do that. Look, empathy. Exactly. You are an empath and you have a ton of empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of the situation. This is confirmation of what I'm saying. Like, you're not afraid to put a person's shoes on and walk a mile in their shoes. That's not something you're afraid of. That, and you know what's crazy too, pile 3? Like, it's just, it's not crazy. It's just, it's profound. It's huge. 99.9% of people fear experiencing life through another person's eyes. And yet here you are, the 0.01% who's ready and willing to, hey, cool, let me see your shoes, let me see your cloak, let me see your walking stick. I got this. I'll be back in an hour. Let me see what your life's like. I want to know who you are in and out. You're not afraid to do the hardest thing that there is. You're afraid to do the one thing that might make you seem like the bad guy. But you're not. And the minute you see yourself as the bad guy, everyone else is going to see you as the bad guy. So how can you reframe this so you're not seeing yourself as the bad guy? No one else would be capable of delivering the information that you're delivering in the way that you deliver it. Everyone else, it would be looked at as awful because they wouldn't care. They would just give it in such a dry manner, right? And it would just be like, well, that's it. Sorry, goodbye. But there's like a reframing of this so that you can see it from a different perspective and say, like, what I do is important, and the information that I give, even if it's not pleasant, it's still important that I give it because there's no one else that's doing this the way that I'm doing it. And so while it might not be pleasant for them, I have to take solace in knowing that I gave it to them in the most empathetic, compassionate, kind way possible because I'm that person. I am willing to walk a mile in their shoes. I am willing to understand where they're coming from. So, like, even if you're dropping an emotional bomb on them, you're not doing it in a cruel, unkind way. You're, like, making sure that they have a pillow somewhere that they can lie on while they watch this bomb drop at their feet. Like, hey, you need some popcorn? Cool, I got you some popcorn. Hey, what's your favorite salty snack? What's your favorite sweet snack? Don't worry, I got you. Oh, here's your favorite soda. Here's your favorite drink. You make them comfortable while you do it. Everyone else, they just put it on their head like, hey, here's the target. I just put that target on your head. So bad. Sorry. Bye. And run away laughing like, oh, I'm glad I'm not them. I'm glad I'm not them. Because that's how unkind humanity has become. We just don't see each other as each other anymore. We see each other as like, oh, well, it's not me. That's good. But that's not how you see it. You've never seen it that way. Scorpio, face your feelings. Wow. Okay, source. Bring it in. Bring it in. So you could have Scorpio placements in your chart for sure. You have a lot of Scorpio. You'd also have some pretty intense Pluto placements as well. Yeah. There's just this energy. It's almost like your feelings are so overwhelming. And as a Scorpio, that makes sense, right? Like you could have a Cancer moon with a Scorpio rising and a Pisces sun. You could have any one of the 3 water signs. I feel like this is like a water sign trifecta. You have sun, moon, rising all in water. That would be one that's coming through. Or you have your moon, your Venus, and your 10th house in water. Or you have your Pluto, let's see, your Pluto, your sun, and your Mercury in water. Okay, and if you don't have any water placements, that's okay. That's awesome, actually, the fact that you're able to open up to that much empathy as a non-water inhabitant. That's impressive. It means that you've tapped into a part of empathy that not a lot of the other signs are able to do. It doesn't mean that other signs aren't empathetic. It's just that water has that depth to it. And so that's why it's like fire, right? Fire energy has the fire behind it, the passion, the drive. They're motivated in a way that no other sign is. Earth, they're stable in a way that no other sign is. Air, they're intelligent and wise in a way that no other sign is. So it's like all of these things add up to, it's like our perceived weaknesses. There's someone else who has a strength that helps balance us out. And so that's what it feels like here, that you've learned how to master this empathetic walk, but there's still the fear that's coming up with that. And you don't want to be the source of drama for others. Yeah, your energy is everything here. Okay, so how you view yourself is how others are going to view you. If you think that what you do is important, but I don't like this one aspect, then everybody is going to see it the same way. Oh, what you do for us is so important. We're so glad. But then the people who have to hear that one part that you don't like, they're all going to see you as the villain in their story. So it's just owning the parts that you don't like so that you can be balanced out. It's like balancing out the energy here. The moon, yeah, it's emotions. The emotions are coming up here. You're emotionally intelligent. You're emotionally mature. But there's just this one thing that's hanging on that's blocking you from receiving the true guidance that you're looking for here. It says satisfy emotional needs, nurture self and others. Right? You already do that in a powerful way. We have the radical curiosity, seeing as if for the first time, every situation that comes in, seeing it as the first time. This is the number 2 card though, over 20 for judgment. So we have 2 and 2 coming through here, but 2 is the number of duality. It's the number of light and dark, right? It's also the number of trusting the process. But I feel like it's really synchronistic for it to come out here because it's showing like you have to embrace both the light and the dark aspect of what it is that you want to do. That's the only way it will ever be seen as a whole to you. Look, have faith. Number 12, have faith. Trust your faith in this situation. Have faith that it's all working out for your highest good. Everything is going to work out fine. This is the switch that you can make right now consciously for yourself to start seeing it from eyes of unconditional love. See, this is the thing, failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. There's a feeling of failure with this. Like, I just feel like I'm just not that person that can do it. And that makes you feel like the failure. Like, I can't be cruel like other people. No one's asking you to be cruel. Even if this feels cruel, no one is asking you to be cruel. And that's what makes it unique for you, pile 3. North Node. Yeah, embrace your true purpose. This is a part of your path. Doing this is a part of your path. This is a part of your true north. Success. Yeah. See, you're meant to have success. And that's what it felt like with the 6 of Wands here. You were meant to overcome this. There was going to be good things in your future because of this. This is just the route that you have to take. So let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. The Crone. The Messenger. Yeah, this is interesting with the crow here. It's like this is the messenger, and the crone is, you know, it's like you have the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Okay, so it's like the 3 aspects. It's like the crone is the one that's gathered the wisdom. She's already lived her life, and she has all the wisdom from her life, and she's able to bring that to others as a message, right? And so there's this message here that's coming through. This is really synchronistic to me, actually. The number 13, and that connects with the 13 card, what you might know as death. There's a transformation, which is also Scorpio energy, Pluto energy. So there's a lot of Scorpio that's coming in as well, but it's like that death and rebirth. Sometimes you're going to have to pass on information that brings an egoic or emotional death to someone in order for them to be reborn. And that's going to create a lot of different reactions. Not even responses. Like, the people who are ready to respond will respond, but the people who are in that energy of, I'm going to react to this, they're going to react in all different kinds of ways. But you're the one that can handle that. Okay, so we've got the crone has difficulty time tolerating superficial, petty day-to-day musings. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Wow. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. It also says a crone is a master at letting go and reading what is. Exactly. Like, you hold yourself up to these high standards because you know. But sometimes we have to hold other people up to those standards too. It says she rejects nothing. The crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, and the moon. Says the witch, the old woman, the sage. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of maiden, mother, and crone. In her long life, she witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. This is where you're headed, into this very transcendental place. You're transcending so much already. And it's not even necessarily about your vibration. It's just an expansion of consciousness that is happening at a rapid pace for you. But there's just this one thing that's holding on. She laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth churning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with it. The same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us, though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. What an amazing card for you, pile 3. Yeah, oh, I love this. When light, you're magic, clairvoyant, psychic, intuitive, and wise. That makes so much sense. Such a synchronistic reading. I love it. So awesome. When dark, you're vindictive, bitter, isolated, or ostracized. And I feel like ostracized is the one that was coming through the most. Okay. It says to go deeper, check out Dhumavati, Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith. Okay. So those, I'm not sure about Dhumavati, my bad. It's Dhumavati. But I know Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith are all goddesses that you can check out as well. This is a powerful message, though. This is incredible, right? It's like the master of letting go. That's the thing. Like this whole time I've felt that with you. You're not afraid to ask why you're triggered. You're not afraid to do the shadow work. You're not afraid to go in and really dig in deep. And that's so powerful. But it's like when it comes to others, like you know that others are going to run and hide from it. And so there's like that fear, like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to have to deal with their triggered self. Sometimes we just have to come from that crone energy, and it's like, it's not that we're rejecting it. We're not necessarily accepting it. We're just seeing it as it is. Like, hey, I get it. I get that this isn't great news, but you had to get it. Like, we couldn't just leave this unanswered. Sometimes it's just coming with a very logical mindset. And that's a very, very powerful place. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog snoring. She's so loud. So loud. But this was an incredible reading. And this is what I see here for you, pile number 3. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little crow emoji down below and say, I choose to embrace the duality in life, knowing that there is no real good or bad, right or wrong. And I accept everything as it is in this moment and embrace my inner power. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It'll have everything that you need. And with that, I would love to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this absolutely incredible reading today. I'm so glad I got to connect with you in this way, pile 3. You're an incredible soul, and I hope you know that. So I'm sending you so much love and so much light. We do need you in this world as you are. And until next time, pile 3, stay human. Bye.